Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to Lezzing Out. I'm Peyton.
And I'm Amber.
Today, we're going to be talking about I Kissed a Girl, Season 2, Episode 5. Before we get into that, as always, we're going to go over hot takes. I definitely have one. My hot take is that women's sports, women's live events, like live sporting events, much better than men's sporting events by any stretch of the imagination. I actually went to a New York Liberty game this week. It was so much fun. Love to see my girls. We won barely, but we won nonetheless. And there's just something so electric about being in the crowd at a women's sporting event. Like, everybody's happy, everybody's like sad together, we're all I don't know, like, and I know that stuff is at men's events too, but there's something really special about women's sporting events, and I have had more fun at women's events than I've ever had at any men's event that I've been to be honest with you.
Oh, man, I think I need to have my, lesbian card revoked. I have yet to go to a Liberty game. I can't even think of a women's, all women's sporting event that I've gone to. Please don't hate me. I will go to a Liberty game. I will make it my life's mission to go to a Liberty game.
Ambigini, you're not hated. You know, we're just a little concerned for you. And you definitely have to come to a Liberty game because, listen, your home team ain't doing too hot right now. So I'm just saying, not doing too great.
I know. We don't have to talk about that. No, we can absolutely plan for a women's sporting event. Hopefully I can come visit, make it a whole thing.
Yes, please.
And we can kind of rerun when we went to the Mets game together.
Oh, yes, that was very fun. That was very fun. But I did enjoy the beers after more.
Oh my God, our deep chats. Guys, fun fact, this podcast came to fruition after a Mets game and a bar that I don't remember what it was called, but it was in Astoria, no?
It was in Long Island. So close.
Long Island City. Very close.
Yeah, it was Long Island City.
They had really delicious, unique drinks, and me and Peyton and our girlfriends all just chatted for hours. And we talked about the O word for so long that we were like, why don't we just make a podcast? So you're welcome.
You're so welcome.
That's how our podcast came to be, a drunken night out after a sporting event.
Yeah, shout out to the New York Mets for that. I know I just kind of shat on men's sporting events all the way over them, but it did come about then. So thank you to the New York Mets.
Thank you.
Because of that, we were able to deliver something that the world really needs right now, which is definitely another podcast, right?
Yeah, especially another podcast, but a lesbian one. So we're good.
That is true.
Yeah.
What's your hot take, Amber?
I don't necessarily have a hot take. I just want to vent to you guys.
Ooh.
So please lend your listening ears. I live in the fucking desert. I am a city girl at heart. New York City has my heart. But I have two new friendly visitors at my house, which are two cute little bats that have decided to take refuge, take my home hostage, actually, right outside my front door. So me and my girlfriend tried to figure out how to get them to leave without harming them, because we might not like them, but we don't want to kill them or hurt them in any way. So we decided to put up aluminum foil all over the front of our front door porch area, because they're not supposed to grab onto anything, and the sound of the aluminum foil will keep them away. I will say, if anyone else is having this problem, it works. They have not come back. But now I think my neighbors think I'm crazy, and our door dashers probably think we're crazy too, because they come to the front door and it looks like we're the type of people to wear aluminum foil tin hats. And
I'm so happy that you said that, because Miss Ambigini, I was about to say that you and Spike should just lean into that, just full on tin hat people. I think you should do that personally. You can't beat them, join them.
I'm not too far from Area 51, right? So
you might
in the night skies, they do come visit. I am waiting to see an alien spaceship, some way, shape, or form. I feel like it's bound to happen.
If you do, please tell them to pick me up too. I need to get out of here.
Beam me up,
I don't want to be here
please.
anymore. Beam me up. Whatever happened. What, do you need to know the secrets of humanity? I got you. Like, take me out. Take me out.
We can do this podcast from their spaceship. It's fine.
Oh, hell yeah. Talk about alien superstar. Come on. Like, I'm ready. Take me.
Yeah, take me. Okay. I Kissed a Girl, episode 5, season 2. Do you have a description for the listeners?
You already know that I do, Amber. So, the BBC describes this episode as a surprise new arrival ruffles feathers in the Masseria, exposing cracks in some relationships. As one couple wakes up feeling frosty, another hits a bump in the road. A note from Dani makes one girl's head spin, and the pair calls it quits before a surprise kiss-off. Oh, I was wrong about my one assumption that there would not be a kiss-off this episode. But as one door closes, another one opens, and the Masseria's balcony hosts a duo's dynamic debut, which is set to rock the summer of love. Amber, what are your thoughts on this description? What do you think we're going to see? Are we going to be upset? Are we going to be happy? Tell me everything.
I did not think that a kiss-off would be this close, especially
Same.
after Pippa came in last episode. Pippa has only had 24 hours to try and find a connection, which is pretty harsh. That's like quicker than any Love Island kind of connection. But I think it's pretty spot on in regards to what we're to expect. I love Dani coming in with twists and turns, and I enjoyed about half of this episode, I will say.
Ooh,
I feel
just
like
half?
Just half. I feel like I enjoyed the second half of the episode the most. The first half, I feel like I could have predicted it.
I think that's valid. It was pretty standard, kind of slow episode. I feel like every show like this has a kind of slow start. Well, at some point you get to a position where things are just slow. So I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I think we're about halfway through, which is honestly kind of crazy to think about. A little bit more than halfway if we're only including the episodes that are taking place in the Masseria, because I believe episode 10 is like a reunion.
I hope so.
There better be a reunion after this.
I know.
Like, come on.
I'd be shook.
I will be so upset if there's not. But, time will tell. We were wrong about what this episode was going to be about. I felt very, very... Because they gave us, if you all remember, they gave us that, like, giant supercut of everything that's going to happen for, like, the rest of the season. Which I understand, but they should have told us that because I thought it was all going to happen this episode.
I know.
But in talking about it, we realized, oh, okay, well, maybe there's going to be a BDSM party this episode. I was pretty confident about that. We were wrong.
Me too.
But I digress. So, if we remember from last episode, things ended pretty tense between Ebony and Imogen. They got in a little spat. Imogen stomped her way back to the fire pit and seethed for dear life. And that's kind of where we ended it. So we pick up right where that left off. It's morning time. The Masseria is waking up. There's checking in. How are things going? How are we feeling? The first thing that I noticed was that there was a lot of tension between Ebony and Imogen. Specifically, Pippa, if we remember, this is the new person in the Masseria. The Masseria. I also just want to say, we know that Masseria is not the actual name for it.
Yeah.
For those who do not understand, we are saying it because of mask lesbians. And the first, however many new people they brought in were mask. So that's why we're calling it the Masseria. We know it's actually Masseria. Don't come for us. We get it.
We're having a fun play on words.
No, literally. Come on, have a little fun with it. So when they wake up, Pippa immediately asks, okay, well, there was some tension between you two last night. What's happening? Are you all open or closed? And I don't know if you picked up on this, Amber, but there was a really awkward kind of silence there. They kind of looked at each other
Yeah,
right?
it was a bit weird. First, I want to say I'm a little annoyed that we didn't get to see the rest of Imogen seething the night before.
Fair.
It really just cut off, and I was left wanting more, and I'm still left wanting more because we wake up the next morning. I did notice that Imogen and Ebony's beds were still pushed together, but yeah, Imogen was not trying to talk to Ebony, very closed off. Really awkward that every time we wake up after a night of messiness, someone in the Masseria has to be like, so are we going to talk about it? Does everyone want to have a little, like, session? I would absolutely hate that.
That would
put
be
the
me.
covers over my head.
That would be
it
me.
would be you.
I'd be like, what's going on? How are we feeling? You all were killing at each other last night. What happened?
Truly. I'm like, wait for me to have a coffee first. I can't.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, the two just kind of awkwardly stare at each other. And then finally, Ebony's like, yeah, we're still open. And in a side interview, Pippa's like, I'm going to leave that situation alone.
Yeah. Who wants to be in that?
Which I think is good for them.
Yeah. No one wants to be in that.
Yeah. It's like, you know, shows like this, there's always going to be some kind of tension when somebody isn't with their match anymore, or when they're matched like somebody else, and that's okay. But their fight was pretty explosive. I would say it was kind of like one-sided explosive.
Oh, 100% one-sided.
Not going to say what that means further. But yeah, I don't know. I think Pippa's making the right decision here.
I think Pippa is really reading the scenario well. And even if Pippa might be attracted to Imogen, stay away from that. No need for a love triangle there for someone who is, one, extremely explosive when they don't get their way, and two, someone who it seems as though Imogen really wants someone to be 100% for her, even if they don't really know each other. And that is one thing that Ebony is not down with, which I can appreciate. Like, Ebony wants to experience this moment in the Masseria for herself, and I appreciate that.
I do too, and I'm happy that she's kind of standing firm in that. The two end up talking later on that morning. Imogen mentioned that Imogen mentioned that Ebony was her priority. I just want these two to be over with. I thought the conversation was like whatever. They kind of just rehashed what they talked about last night.
Yeah,
and kind of broke apart after that. Like, I don't really know. It was kind of weird, right?
It was very weird. It was Imogen coming to apologize, but then also kind of not wanting to move forward with Ebony if Ebony was still wanting to have a chat to Kaylee. It all comes down to Ebony wanting to have a one-on-one chat with Kaylee that she has not even had yet. And Imogen immediately goes back to, my wall is up. You go talk to Kaylee. I'm calling it. So Imogen is the one who calls it. Ebony is like, if that's what you want, because, okay, clearly it doesn't matter whatever the fuck I want. Or, you know, I'm not saying I'm not for you or interested in you. I'm just saying I also am attracted to this person, and that's what we're here for. I'm not here to get married and close off to you right now.
Yeah, which I think is fair. The whole point of this isn't to walk out. Like, this isn't Love is Blind, right? Like, where at the end you're going to be fully married to somebody. I think that's a crazy concept, but
that is so crazy.
They say lesbians move fast, but then I'm like,
I was like, straight people
also will get engaged in a year. I feel like somebody will be dating somebody for 1 year, and then they're like, we need to talk about getting married, and I'm like,
yeah,
excuse me. Which, yes, this is not to say lesbians don't move fast.
Truly,
we have our moments.
We own that.
Two U-Haulers right here. We've been there, and I'm sure some of you have as well, and that's fine. But yeah, I digress. So I feel like the whole situation with with Ebony and Imogen is a little bit unresolved, right? They both agree, like, we're still open. I think they both kind of agree, like, the blow up last night maybe shouldn't have happened. But it still seems a little bit meh, not as tense,
iffy,
but still a little bit. Exactly. Not sure where that's going to go. A couple quick hits for some of our, you know, I say this in quotes, like, more established couples, if you will. Elise and Alicia. Obviously, they have to get into what happened last night. Alicia made it very clear to Elise, hey, you're jealous. I don't like this. So, of course, Elise is jealous that she thinks Alicia is going to chat with Pippa.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had that good conversation. Maybe, you know, it's easier said than done, one of those things. I'm kind of curious, though, like, do we think Alicia will go for another mask? Because at the end of the day, she is femme for femme for the most part. Elise is like her first mask. Do we think that she would even go for Pippa if Pippa were like, hey, I let's talk, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have had the same thought. I think Pippa is over the line of like tomboy mask, Pippa is like mask. And I think Elise and Alicia work because Elise still has like a feminine kind of element to her, where during the day she's wearing bikini tops and short shorts and like is still in her femininity, you know?
Right.
And I think that's what Alicia is attracted to. And because Elise is completely head over heels for this person and giving her this princess treatment, who doesn't want that either, you know?
Exactly.
So I think Alicia is going to stick with Elise and not move to Pippa. Do I think she will probably like have conversations, because I feel like Alicia is also very much in this experience, just like Ebony is? Absolutely. Do I think if another tomboy-esque mask comes in similar to Elise, maybe that'll sway Alicia? Absolutely. But I don't think that Pippa is necessarily the type of mask based off of looks and how they present themselves, given the things that she's looking for in like a femme for femme or in the relationship that she has or couple with Elise.
I agree. I think Elise, I've said it a few times, their names, like they're so
Their names are so similar.
It's also the fact that they're spelled like basically the same. I don't think I've met anybody personally who spells their name Elisha. So I think that's also kind of like throwing me like in the notes. I'm like, Alicia, it's kind of the same. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't foresee Alicia being super into Pippa. I think that if anything was going to turn her head, it would be, to your point, a femme, maybe somebody who's like a softer mask at the very most. I agree with you. I think she'll be kind, but I don't think that there's a whole lot there. Moving on to one of our other couples that has faced a little bit of a rocky patch is Blessing and Lindsay. I'm happy that they got together and they talked about what was said last night. I feel like, you know, Lindsay came right out the gate. Like, height has never really been a factor in why I choose someone, but I apologize if I hurt your feelings. But then she also went on to say that Blessing was too serious sometimes and needed to, quote unquote, unclench her asshole. What did you think about that?
I was not 100% pleased. I left that conversation thinking, so where are we? What's happening here?
Yes.
Is it resolved? Are you moving forward and still staying in your couple? Because that was also something that Blessing was really interested in understanding also, was clarification around Lindsay being like, I don't feel the sexual chemistry. I think I need space. And so Blessing is wondering what's the deal, which I am also wondering what's the deal.
Yeah, what's good?
I left that conversation not knowing what the deal was, but knowing that Lindsay wants Blessing to unclench her asshole, which I thought Blessing was perfectly fine, but I guess not.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, I mean, obviously with shows like this, there's always elements like that we don't see, right? Like, these people are stuck in one place together. They're with each other all the time. I imagine this is similar to like a Love Island or Love is Blind, where they don't have their phones. So that's really all they have to do is talk with each other. There's a lot that we miss, which I think is an important call out. Like, all of our takes are based on what we see. Obviously, we're not in the Masseria. They don't do live streams like they do on like Big Brother or something.
Oh my God,
it's not
imagine.
like, oh my God. I
You
would
would have
crash out
so
on a show
many
like
notes.
that. Oh my God. Don't even get me started.
You would have
My
a
whole life
whole
would be,
notebook full of notes for
my
one
whole life would
day.
be taking notes. It's absolutely like, my
Also,
my
wait,
note
side
taking is
note, can we
wild.
I totally forgot I have this sticker on my notebook. It's a chicken, a tattooed chicken.
Why is it a tattooed chicken?
I don't know, but I like it.
It's cool.
Okay.
It's cool. I mean, I guess the chicken could be good to practice tattooing on if like you're
Right?
an apprentice.
It's like
Right?
similar
kinda
skin. Yeah.
One would think. But it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's probably a lot that we're not seeing, right? Like, a lot gets left on the chopping block. I also don't know how long they're filming. Like, is this like a Big Brother where they're literally being filmed like for 24 hours? Or is this like a Love
down.
or is it like a Love is Blind or a Love Island where, yes, they're doing a lot of filming, but there are also like days when they're not, or times when they're not. Like, I'm kind of curious what that looks like.
Me too. I'm very curious. Because like right now, it's hard for me to read Lindsay, if I'm being completely honest.
I agree.
Every matchup she's had or person that she's been interested in, she's found something that she's kind of like nitpicking on. And for me, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you're not perfect either. And I'm sure Blessing is wanting to nitpick on you, but is giving you the space that you need to vent the things that you want her to change about herself, which is actually wild. But I think if we had more video of what's going on throughout the day, maybe it'd be easier for me to understand Lindsay more. But maybe that's also the edit that they want to give, where Lindsay is hard to read and Lindsay is nitpicking things. And maybe someone hasn't come in who's truly 100% her type and she's just settling with who's there. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And, you know, like our songstress, RuPaul Charles says, blame it on the edit. Blame it on the edit. You truly don't know what you're getting. When you sign up for something like this, you know what you're going to do, but you don't really know how you're going to be portrayed, right? You could be an angel,
Right.
but they'll catch that one time where you're being a little bit of Satan, and they're like, this is who you are now.
Yeah, I actually
So.
feel like I would get a bad edit.
Yeah, I think so,
I
too.
would get,
about
like,
myself.
I would be, like, the emotional bitch. It'd be bad.
Yeah, I think I would be, too. I'm like, oh, my God, I could not do that. I don't know. I couldn't do it. Moving on, because we're not on this show. Thank God for that. Otherwise, somebody would be talking about us.
I know.
Elmira and Kaylee featuring our girl Tyra. Both Kaylee and Tyra feel like things are distant between one another, but it doesn't seem like they're telling each other that. They're talking to other people about it.
Right.
But they both feel some distance. I'm happy they're on the same page. Hate that it's for the negative.
I know.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I knew that from the last episode that Kaylee was also interested in Elmira, right? Like, it was Ebony, Elmira, Tyra.
Yep.
Get it. I am hurt that my girl Tyra feels this distant feeling. And I feel like, and I hate to say it, I feel like Kaylee is just picking whoever is interested in her at the time to move forward with. And I hope that I'm wrong. I completely hope I'm wrong. But she was super interested in Tyra because Tyra was, like, giving her the attention that she needs. But then Elmira started giving her the attention that she wants. And then it was kind of like, okay, well, Tyra, I've already had the attention that you want to give. I'm going to go explore this attention that I'm getting from Elmira. Meanwhile, Tyra's like, I'm still here. I'm still interested. I'm still trying. But you're not wanting to reciprocate any of it. And I feel like Tyra's kind of like me, where I'm like, if I feel unwanted and I'm putting in this effort, fuck you. I'm backing up. I'm not playing this game. Like, I know myself well enough that I will get hurt, so I'm going to remove myself from the situation. And that's kind of like where I feel like that conversation with Kaylee and Tyra went, where Tyra's like, you go explore whatever connections you're interested in. Like, I'm good. And Kaylee agreed that it was kind of just platonic.
Yeah, I agree with you. So do you think then that Kaylee is kind of jumping on the Elmira train because Elmira has a crush on her? Because Elmira did say, I have a big fat crush on you. Do you think that Kaylee's crush on Elmira is just like, ooh, this is interesting because this person is interested in me? Or do you think that she's actually kind of like, no, I have had eyes on Elmira?
I think that she maybe finds Elmira attractive. However, when they had their conversation, it really felt as though Elmira was giving a lot of herself to Kaylee and, like, being very vulnerable and saying, I have a big fat crush on you. And they did kiss in that moment also. Correct. Which the kiss seemed really good. But then Kaylee going to talk to Tyra after Kaylee told Kaylee told Tyra that Elmira has a big fat crush on her. Kaylee's face wasn't necessarily happy about it. It felt like she, one, probably felt very uncomfortable telling this to Tyra. I guess, maybe you didn't really have to give the explicits of the conversation you had. Like, maybe you just say, we're interested in having a conversation. Yeah. But I wasn't reading Kaylee's response to it as, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is exactly what I want. I read it as, oh my gosh, I don't know how I feel. I guess this is worth exploring.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's too early to tell with those two. Because I feel like Elmira, and we'll get into this now, I guess we can kind of segue there, but like I felt like Elmira and Nikita, initially also were like pretty happy with one another. Like after that initial kiss off, which we were also kind of sucker punched by, I guess might be a way to put it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's too early to tell how I feel about them as a couple, or a potential couple rather, but I'm not incredibly like excited about it either.
Me neither.
If that makes sense.
About Elmira and Kaylee.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, not really here for it a ton. So let's talk about Elmira and Nikita. These two are coupled up currently. This is the reason that our homegirl Faye went home. So when they kick off their conversation, it feels kind of awkward.
Yes.
It kind of starts off with Nikita being like, oh, I don't really know how to flirt. Like, I'm trying to flirt with you, but you're not really giving anything back. But Nikita's like, we need to set things up. Like, we have a vibe. And in her confessional, she's honest about that. Like, I feel like something's going on. I noticed Elmira chatting with Kaylee. Not sure what's happening. Maybe I should also be talking to other people. And I agree. I feel like flirting's kind of hard when the other person isn't flirting back with you.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Have you ever been
very
there?
Awkward. I can't lie, I haven't been there.
Damn.
Not trying to toot my own horn or nothing, but when I flirt, I be getting flirted back. But I have watched a lot of reality television, and I have like been in that secondhand embarrassed moment with whoever's on my screen, right? So I was super uncomfortable with like Nikita being super vulnerable and trying to relay like, I'm flirting to you but you're not flirting back and it's a little awkward, we need to step up our game. I was like, oh, never beg someone to like flirt with you. Never.
Dude, facts. Like, come on, have a little bit of self-respect. Like, if you want somebody to flirt with you, fair. There have been times where I've been like trying to be a little flirty and I'm like, I don't know if the other person's picking it up, but I don't like tell them that. I'm just like, okay, well, we're done. Or like, I'm not gonna flirt anymore. This actually brought up a really interesting question. Do you have like a go-to thing that you're doing when you're trying to flirt with somebody? Like, is there like, I don't know, I'm kind of curious like what that looks like for you.
I'm really touchy, not in like a weird predatory way, but like if we're having a conversation and I am laughing at something that you say, I might put my hand on your knee or my hand on like the small of your back or okay, the way I got my girlfriend.
Oh.
We were at Metropolitan in New York City.
Nice.
She came to meet me, and she says that one of the things that I did that made her realize like, oh, she's flirting with me and she's like putting the moves on and she liked it, was she went to go get a drink at the bar and it was taking forever. So I walked up to her and I stood right next to her, but I put my hand like on the small of her back, and I think I put my other hand like on her arm that's like resting on the bar. And I was like, what's taking so long? Like, I'm waiting for you or whatever. You know, like showing that there's that interest, like I've been looking for you type of thing. And I guess that's my move. My move is like, just be really attentive, show the person that like you're invested in whatever conversation is happening. I ask a lot of questions when I am interested in someone, and when you ask people questions about themselves, they love you, you know, because people love talking about themselves. So I do that. I ask a lot of questions and get touchy.
Nice.
What about you?
That's a great question. I ask a lot of questions by nature, so if I'm ever hanging out with you and I'm like asking a lot of questions, just for anybody listening, it doesn't mean I'm flirting with you. I'm just curious. I'm a Gemini. I need to know everything. I want to know how everything works, like constantly. But I think that for me, my move when I'm flirting with somebody is all in my eyes. I feel like I know how to be that Bambi-eyed bitch, as our girl Lala would say.
Oh my God. Lala.
Or no, yeah, Bambi-eyed bitch, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like usually I'll like, I don't know, it's all in my eyes. And I also think that for me, it depends on who I'm talking to. But if I'm talking to somebody who is more femme, I feel like sometimes I find myself femming it up more than normal. And it's not because it's like, it is just who I am. Like, I think people are kind of shocked because they see me and they're like, oh, mask, whatever. Like, you think that I'll act masculine. And I definitely have that side to me. But I'm also very much a girly pop.
I was going to say, you are so girly pop.
I am
coded.
such, yeah, exactly. So I think that people like that. And I think it's like interesting because I feel like, especially if you have only met quote unquote like one type of queer person, where I come from, there wasn't a lot of, you know, variety in what it meant to be, or like how it was presented, rather, at least just in my experience. So for me, it's kind of fun when somebody isn't really expecting, oh, hey, this mask is still going to be like girly. So yeah, I think it's my eyes and just my genuine girly pop nature. I think that's
I love
what
that.
works
That's actually
for me.
really, I can definitely tell that is like your move. I could see it.
Yeah, it's yeah. And like I said, I have flirted with somebody before and they've not gone for it. So I don't have a perfect track record like you, Amber. Maybe you got to teach everybody your ways. Maybe one of our episodes can be a workshop.
I keep my secrets to myself.
Amber doesn't share. Amber doesn't share.
I don't share. Sorry. You got enough. You got enough from me.
Fair. And speaking of sharing, one of these girls is about to have to share something, okay? Because Flavia walks in, the girls are drooling, I am drooling, Ashley makes a comment, everybody in here loves her, even the masks. Flavia is so fine.
So fine. And the accent?
Ugh, I know, the hair,
Beautiful.
the style, great style. I'm like, does Flavia have a stylist for this show, or is this how Flavia dresses? I'm curious.
Right.
She looks great.
She looks great.
Fantastic. So, as always, she comes in with a note from not Mother Minogue. We're going to call her Dani.
Mother Dani.
She comes in with a note from Dani, gives it to Pippa to read. Essentially, it just says that Pippa gets to have a romantic rooftop date with somebody of their choosing. Pippa chooses Alicia. God, Alicia. Pippa chooses Alicia. I'm screaming. What are you doing, Amber?
Yeah, I'm shook. There was a part of me that was wondering if it was going to be Nikita or someone else.
I agree.
Because Elise and Alicia are so closed off, essentially. But Pippa is here to step on toes and have these conversations, which I love because that's what you're supposed to do as someone who comes in and only has, little does Pippa know, 24 hours to make a decision.
Yeah. And that's probably why they gave them that date, actually. Right. Now that I think about it, that's probably why they got that date, because, like, they really did have, like, a pretty tight turnaround time. And this wasn't if you don't pick somebody, it's fine, you're safe. It was very much like, and we'll get to it later, the person you pick doesn't pick you, like, sayonara. No, you just got here, but, you know, too bad, so sad. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty... Again, I'm screaming over this, but I'm also like, okay, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Elise is definitely coping. She's like in her side head interview, like, it's okay, she's going to come back to me. What's meant for me will be like fully fucking coping here. But Alicia is going into it with an open mind. I really enjoy her so far. I think that we've talked about it before, but I think that she's pretty level-headed and very emotionally mature, because she's like, listen, I feel very confident in what I have with Elise. However, I want to give Pippa a shot. You know, they're here to meet people, and I want to give them like a fair shake and not just, you chose me, but it's a hard no, which I think was great.
Yeah, Alicia, for 24 years old, is very level-headed. I was looking at that whole scenario and Elise crying as Alicia's going on this date. I felt really bad for Elise, but I also was reading that, like, Elise is showing signs of anxious attachment to Alicia, and Alicia is showing stable attachment. And so there's this divide that we see very clearly because Alicia is constantly having to, I guess, correct Elise and stop her from potentially love bombing her or just being over the top in certain situations. But I read that whole scenario as like, I understand how Elise feels, because I have had moments where I've had anxious attachment to someone. Right. But it's very hard to unlearn. But I really hope that Elise watches this in the future and can see that within herself and hopefully grow and heal from that.
Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, when you're like a young person dating, period, there's a lot of learning to do. There's a lot of learning about like what a healthy relationship is, what an unhealthy relationship is, and then kind of the signs and red flags that might be leading you down one of those paths. And Elise is still pretty young. Alicia's also still pretty young.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that they were able to have that conversation of like, listen, I don't like jealousy. Last episode, like, I don't like jealousy. Like, dial it back. And I hope that, you know, after this, I agree with you, Elise kind of realizes her anxious attachment and works on that, because in those situations, everything's just going to be harder for whoever she's involved with and her. So I agree with you. It's no shade at all against, I know we've been shading the hell out of Elise since episode 1, but this is no shade at all toward her. It's just a learning experience.
Totally a learning experience. I think Elise has shown a little bit of growth. I think she is very open to learning how to evolve, unlike other people in the Masseria. But Elise is very much on Red Flag Island. However, I feel like she can get herself out of it eventually.
Right. Yeah, there is hope for her yet. There's hope. So, Alicia and Pippa leave. Mm-hmm. Elise is crying a little bit, getting some reassurance from none other than our girl Renee. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the date itself. Okay. It was pretty. They're on a rooftop. They have chats about like relationships, how long Pippa's been single. Pippa makes a funny comment about how her and Alicia are like Barbie and her non-binary Ken. Yeah. I thought that was really funny. I loved it. And they also talk a little bit about Pippa's coming out journey as a non-binary person. What were your thoughts on this date?
I actually really loved how deep they got within that conversation, and that was like a question that Alicia had asked. Is like, you know, when did you know, and what was your journey, which is a very deep question, and I appreciate that Pippa was comfortable enough to talk about that. I appreciated that we learned that from a young age, I think Pippa said maybe 3 to 4 years old, that they didn't really feel neither man nor woman. Mm-hmm. And that they cut their hair all off, which I love. I'm like, isn't that a journey? Everyone's journey. At some point, we cut our hair all off. But at 3 or 4, it's so cute and it's funny. But learning that Pippa really just from a young age was supported by their family. Yes. And understood by their family. It seemed like it made it a little easier or maybe more comfortable to be 100% themselves. And I love that. I love when someone can be authentically who they are and not be worried about other people and have support system. And I just was like, wow, Pippa seems like a very sweet, genuine person. And I love that they're in the Masseria.
Yeah. I could not agree with you more on that. Firstly, like the representation of having a non-binary person there, I think is huge. I also think the conversation around Pippa's coming out and what that looked like for them was really beautiful. Mm-hmm. We all have different stories. I'm happy that theirs was one of love and support and acceptance by their family. I feel like sometimes that's not the case. Yeah. Amber, I can't speak for you, but I know for me, that was not the case when I first came out. I'm sure at some point we'll talk about what that looks like on the pod. However, I think that was a great conversation to have. I feel like to grow from a child to an adult, having that unconditional love of like, hey, you know, the person that you've turned out to be might not be who I thought you were going to be when I was pregnant with you or when I first had you. But as long as you're happy, healthy, and doing what makes you, you, I think that's a beautiful thing. And again, I know that that's something that not all queer folk have. You know, there are people who come out and they get kicked out of their house or they get, you know, assaulted or, you know, whatever that might look like for them. And so that is very much a part of, you know, people's stories as well. And I am happy that, you know, there are folks who don't have that story and who do just kind of get to be themselves from the onset without being forced into a bucket of, no, you're going to be this person, you're going to do this thing, this is who you're going to love, this is how you're going to dress. I think that was really beautiful, and I'm happy that they talked about it.
Me too. It was a really nice, sweet moment that we got to see.
For sure. After the date, Pippa feels pretty good. They're like, yeah, I'm pretty confident. I think it went well. However, on the flip, Elise and Alicia waste no time wrapping each other in a big hug. Alicia even says in her talking head, you know, that was a great date. Pippa's a lovely person. There weren't really sparks there, and Elise is still my choice. Which can't say I'm shocked by. I think that is what I thought was how that was going to go going into it.
Yeah, I'm not shocked about it either. I feel like because still my thought process is like Pippa is more mask presenting than Elise. So I feel like the attraction level is still more on Elise for Alicia, which is totally fine. I would love to see their connection tested more personally.
Yeah.
So that I'm interested. But I think it overall was a good conversation. And if Alicia is not interested in Pippa, I do think it'll make for a really good friendship either way, because they seem like they can both be really open and honest and share personal things with one another, which is like what friends are for. I love talking about my life to my friends. I love trauma dumping. I love sharing stories. Like, that's what they're there for.
Yeah, I agree. And I would like to see that relationship continue down that kind of path as well, because I think it's great that they were able to open up with one another, and mostly it was Pippa opening up to Alicia, but I'm happy that they were, you know, they were able to hold space for one another, have those conversations, and I agree with you. I'd like to see them continue as friends.
Yeah. I love the sounds of New York City.
Oh my God, can you hear the siren in the back?
I can,
Jesus.
and I'm being totally sarcastic. I don't miss that.
I actually don't mind it too bad. I feel like I've gotten used to it. It doesn't really bother me. I don't always hear things, but sometimes I do. What does bother me is honking. That's where I have an issue. And thankfully I live, like, my window is on kind of like a little side street, so I don't get that as much as if I lived on like the major avenue that runs in front of my building. So it is like a little bit quieter, but yeah, every once in a while you get a siren.
That's fair.
City that never sleeps. Speaking of never sleeping, day turns into night at the Masseria. Right. The people are still talking. We're figuring out what's happening. There's a few people that I want to talk about here, and we'll break it up a little bit more granularly. But just so we're set, Nikita and Elmira, Pippa and Nikita, and Kaylee and Elmira. We have a little bit of a love square going on here.
A threesome.
A foursome. Is it a foursome?
Fuck, a foursome.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks involved here. So in her talking head, Nikita kind of mentions, I feel like I have to initiate everything with Elmira. I think I need to just kind of open up to others. So she does just that. And she goes and talks to Pippa. Pippa promptly tells Nikita that they've been trying to chat with her all night.
Which, okay.
I didn't see that as much.
It, but okay.
Exactly. Again, blame it on the edit. Maybe there's just something they didn't show. But Nikita's pretty smitten with that. She's like, oh, cute. You've been trying to talk to me. It's very clear from the onset. They are flirting. Okay.
Yes.
This isn't that situation with Nikita and Elmira earlier where Nikita was flirting and Elmira was kind of like, hee hee. They're flirting. Full stop.
Full stop.
Nikita mentions that she has never been with a mask before, which I feel like we kind of knew that, but maybe didn't know. Like, I knew that she was partial toward femmes.
Right. We did know that she was partial towards femmes, which is why Alicia and Nikita were the OG matches, because they both were like, we like femme for femme. But, I mean, even just seeing Nikita interact in these couple of episodes, like, Nikita also tried to talk to Blessing, and Blessing is mask presenting.
And Nikita also was paired with Elmira.
Yeah, who is also pretty mask presenting.
Yeah, so like I think I know what she's saying. I think that she's probably just saying, you know, in the outside world, this isn't typically who I go for.
Right.
But it is kind of who she's gone for in the Masseria
every
times.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Because her and Alicia were just kind of together by default. But anybody that she's talked to after that has been masked. So I don't know if she's just wanting to try something new. I'm assuming she's talking about outside of the Masseria. That's typically what her vibe is. Yeah. But she does tell Pippa, her and Pippa talk a little bit about love languages. We don't know what Pippa's is. The camera cuts. That was rude of the producers. I personally want to know what Pippa's love language is. But Nikita she shows her love with acts of service. So she mentioned she loves giving gifts, baking and cooking, making coffee, giving massages. Do you have a love language? What would yours be?
I think mine is also acts of service. I do love giving gifts more than receiving gifts. I love doing little things here and there. Like if I go to the grocery store and I know that my girlfriend's been having a rough week at work, I'll like buy her favorite chocolate and I'll bring it home as a surprise for her. So things like that, just to show thoughtfulness to my girlfriend. I think I love words of affirmation for me. I want that the most. I'm not a super physical touch person. I do like it, but it has to be the right time. And I'm like, blame it on my mental illness. I don't know. But yeah, I think those two are the two that like I go back and forth between. What about you?
I'm in terms of like receiving, I am certainly words of affirmation. In terms of giving, I'm also like words of affirmation, physical touch for sure, and maybe a little bit of acts of service. I feel like that's not my default, but there are times when that comes through. Yeah. So I think it's like a little mix of everything for me.
Yeah, all the love languages.
Yeah. But going back to that love square that we have going on.
Yeah.
Kaylee and Elmira. Kaylee tells Elmira that she had a flirty little chat with Ebony. Those two had a conversation. We'll get to it here in just a moment. Mm-hmm. And Elmira's like, okay, well, how do you know that you're more into Ebony? Like, we haven't tried anything. And then they lean in for a kiss. Mm-hmm. It seemed like a really nice kiss.
Right.
Kaylee ends it with saying that it kind of felt platonic. Was that your read on the situation as well? What? Because I don't think we really saw how Elmira answered that. I think it was kind of like was this platonic, you know?
Right. Yes. Yeah, I mentioned this kind of earlier where they kiss, and this is the kiss that I was talking about, I was referencing earlier. Sorry, folks. But it looked like Elmira maybe liked it more than Kaylee.
Fair.
And I think maybe it is platonic on Kaylee's side. I just feel like I need more conversation. I don't know. I'm still stuck in this. Kaylee's only going after, or like the safe option, the person that is like interested in her in that moment, which sucks because I feel like maybe she had more with Tyra when Tyra was really grafting. But since Tyra took a step back, she's only been leaning 100% really into Elmira. So I don't know. I'm interested to see if she leans into Ebony the same way.
Yeah. I agree. I'm going to do a little speed run through a few of these couples because we got little snippets, but anything super substantial. So going back to Elise and Alicia, of course, as we always do, they chat about the date. They reassure one another. Alicia's like, yeah, like I'm still 100% with you. They share a nice little kiss. These two are endgame. At this point, they're going to make it through the Masseria together unless something drastic changes. I feel like these two are just... It would be fun, right?
I want drama.
I want drama, mama. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I feel like they're probably endgame. We also get to see a little snippet of Ebony and Kaylee. They're finally having a conversation. Unfortunately, we really don't see a ton of it. We get like a little clip. They're basically fucking each other.
That's pretty much all it is.
That's really all it is. That's the substance there.
Yeah.
And then we get a very quick shot of Ashley and Renee.
Oh my god,
getting
bitch.
it. Yo, they were getting it. They were making out.
I
honestly
screamed.
Same. I was like, hell yes. Like, I love this for these two.
I literally screamed. I paused the TV. My girlfriend was like, what's going on? What's going on? Tell me why you're screaming. Why is this a screaming moment? So I had to like give the little bit of lore of why this is a screaming moment.
Yeah.
And I was just so... Oh, my heart was like, yes, yes, yes. I was in it. It was juicy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I loved it. I am kind of bummed that we didn't get to see more of them this episode. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I would have rather seen more of those two than I would have seen of... I feel like we saw too much, like, Elise and Alicia and too much Imogen. We're going to call them that. Imogen and Ebony. I'm really struggling with their names. I don't know. I feel like we didn't get enough of them. That kiss was a nice little holdover, though. But I need to see how things are actually going with them. They seem happy. They've both mentioned, hey, we're each other's type. Or they're not each other's type physically, but like they're both kind of like everything they've been looking for otherwise. So
yeah,
it remains to be seen. Everybody lays down to go to bed. Before they go to bed, Elmira mentions her head is scrambled. Pippa's feeling pretty damn good. And Imogen feels like she's made things worse, which obviously. So
100%.
Girl, don't you get me started.
She literally threw a lighter into gasoline, watched it blow up, and then was like, I think I did too much.
Yeah, literally. She's like, oh, fuck. After the entire forest is burned down, and
Literally.
after millions of resources have been spent on fighting the fire, she's like, oh shit, I think I fucked up. I think I
Guys,
fucked up. And
my
hey,
bad.
listen, we've all been there. We've all been there. It's like, oh, I might have overreacted a little bit.
My bad. Sorry.
We've all been there. We've all been there. It happens to the best of us.
Truly.
So the next morning, of course, they're all checking in on one another, as they always do. Imogen acknowledges that she needs to have a chat with Ebony, and Tyra mentions that, maybe she should try talking to somebody else. Specifically, she's thinking about reaching out to Tyra. So in terms of conversations, we have Elmira and Nikita chatting. Elmira is very honest with Nikita that she has been chatting with Kaylee. She wants to explore things. She feels like her and Nikita are just not on the same wavelength sexually, and they break things off pretty nicely and easily.
100, yeah. It's clean break.
Clean break. I'm happy with how that went. I think it needed to happen. Not mad about it.
Yeah.
Tyra gets her wish, pulls Pippa. She's trying to figure out if there's any energy between them. Pippa says, yeah, I was intrigued by you when I first came in. But they also said that to Alicia, which I guess, two things can be true. Two things can be true. It's kind of like sending a little beige flag up in my mind, though. Like, hey, they said this to Alicia.
They're using the same
thing to Tyra. Yeah. Again, two things can be true. Like, you can walk in a room and be like, oh, hot. Like, I've been there. You ever been to a WNBA game? So I get it. I'm kind of like, I wonder if this will happen in the future. Where it's like, oh, I was interested the first moment I saw you.
Definitely good to look out for.
Exactly. Not much substance to their conversation outside of that. It's pretty high level. But then we get to Ebony and Imogen. Imogen kind of admits in her like little talking head that she is her own inner saboteur. She would rather reject somebody before they reject her. I have been there before. Unfortunately, it is kind of like a trauma response, if you will, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Ebony's like, okay, that's cool and all, but like this isn't a competition. Imogen does see it as a competition, though.
Which, are we surprised? Absolutely not.
Yeah, but like I also don't think that she's like fully wrong. Like it's not a competition in the sense of somebody's gonna come out of here as the winner. It's not that kind of competition. But you do kind of have to put yourself out there and get somebody interested in you for your survival in this Masseria. So like I don't fully disagree.
Even
with her.
In real life, though, she has a point where it's like as you're dating around, you want to be chosen, you want to be picked, you want to be the winner, essentially. So I get it 100% that it is, a little bit of a competition. But that's not what you say to like, keep it in your head. You don't say it out loud and try to make Ebony, you're like trapping Ebony in this moment to get a response out of her. And Ebony's like, I'm not playing this game. I'm not doing this trick.
Yep.
Be gone, demon. Type of vibe.
I rebuke you.
Literally. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Holy water on this girl.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, Imogen, you keep that thought to yourself. You internally know it's a competition. Everybody here is in competition with one another, essentially. So keep it to yourself. It doesn't need to be said out loud.
Yeah, and you know what? As our rapstress, Megan Thee Stallion, said, the only bitch I'm in a competition with is me, okay?
Period.
And that's how it should be. You all have gotten 2 songstress/rapstress quotes. You're welcome. I think they're relevant. Happy we were able to include it. So, after they have those conversations, we cut to a little clip that there's going to be a surprise kiss-off. We mentioned this at the top of the pod, Amber. You and I were both not expecting this. We thought there was going to be a BDSM party. The kiss-off was going to be later because they just did one in episode 3. And Pippa, the ink is still wet on them signing their contract to come in.
Truly.
Yeah,
they
like
tricked us with the BDSM party. I thought I was ready to see like ashless chaps and nipple pasties, and instead we get dry-ass conversations and a kiss-off.
Yeah, that might mean we're setting ourselves up for a good episode 6, though. Stay tuned, guys. We'll find out next week how it goes. Yeah. So everybody finds out there's a kiss-off. People are feeling their feelings. Nikita is like, I've connected with Pippa. Not sure how it's going to play out. Not sure if they're going to choose me. Pippa mentions that they have their eye on Alicia. Eek.
I know.
Doesn't mention Nikita. Does mention Alicia. I feel like they're, we know because we are seeing things in real time, quote unquote, as we're watching, but like barking up the wrong tree. And then lastly, Tyra is trying to figure out if there's anybody in the Masseria for her.
Yeah. Tyra tried to have conversations with as many people that she was interested in, which I applaud her for. But you never want to force anything. And
Never.
I feel like we're seeing it in real time. Tyra just finding that she's not wanting to force it. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
Which I'm sad about, just because I wanted someone to be 100% for her, and I wanted that person to be Kaylee.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she has disappointed me.
Yeah, Kaylee is not the one. So, now it's kiss-off time.
Kiss off.
If anybody needs a reminder, the rules of this are pretty simple. People will stand back to back with whoever is their actual partner right now. They stand back to back. Dani says, if you choose each other, turn around and kiss. If you want to stay with your person, you turn around. Great. If you both turn around, you kiss, you're still together. If one turns around but the other doesn't, oh no, your person didn't choose you. If neither turns around, great. You're both hopefully going to get paired with other people.
Right.
So let's get into the lineup of this.
Okay, so first up, we have Ebony and Imogen. And this could kind of go either way because they've had a tiff, right? So we don't know. I wanted to say that they were going to kiss at the kiss-off. What did you think that was going to happen?
I had a feeling they were going to turn for each other.
Right? Even if Ebony, like, there was like a little glimmer where I was like, maybe Ebony won't because she's interested in Kaylee, but she didn't get enough out of Kaylee. So Ebony and Imogen, they kiss one another. Duh. Now we move on.
Yeah, I want them to break up. That's the last thing I'll say on it. They just don't need to be together. The next couple that go up is Ashley and Renee. I had a feeling they would both turn. There wasn't a lot of conflict or, what's going to happen with them. I think they're both going to turn.
Same.
Were you of the same mind? Yeah, and they do. They have a really hot kiss, too, I got to say. That was a pretty, that was a smooch. That was
Everyone
a
was
smooch.
like, ooh. Even Dani. Dani was like, mouth open, shook. Loved it.
Yeah, it was wild. Love that. So yeah, the masks are still together.
The masks are masking. Next, we have Nikita and Elmira, and this is one where it was like, okay, well, we already know where they are based off of their conversations. So in my mind, I went in, they're not turning for a kiss, right?
Yep, same.
Yeah. So they don't turn for a kiss, and we are left up to Elmira to say who she wants to leave her kiss for, and Nikita to say who she wants to leave her kiss for. Elmira wants to kiss Kaylee. Duh. We know that. And Nikita wants to kiss Pippa. Double duh. We know that too. Not a shocker there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not abundantly clear already from the couples that we've gone through, this is a pretty standard kiss off. I think we know how most of these things are going to go, which is fun, but I'm like, come on, I need like a wrench thrown at some point.
Truly.
So next up, Elise and Alicia. No offense, Amber. I'm not even going to ask your opinion. I know what it is. We both know they're going to turn. Again, I say they're end game. I don't think we need to say more here.
100%. Moving on to Kaylee and Tyra. We know where they stand in terms of their couple. They don't kiss. Not shook. We knew that. We knew that that wasn't going to happen.
Yep.
Next, we get to figure out who they're saving their kisses for. Kaylee saves her kiss for Elmira, which we know that's great.
Yes.
Tyra broke my heart. Tyra decided that she's saving all her kisses for herself. And she has decided to withdraw from moving forward because she essentially just wants to stay true to herself and leave on her own terms. And I admire that, but I'm so sad.
Yeah, listen, I think the TLDR of this is always choose yourself, even when it's hard, even if it means that the immediate outcome might not be exactly what you're wanting, because I'm sure Tyra didn't necessarily want to leave the Masseria.
Right.
But I think it's great. I will miss her a lot. I really liked her energy and her spirit. I think the girls were also pretty shocked by that. But yeah, I'm happy she chose herself. I'm happy she didn't just try to stay and force things. It would have made her feel worse in the end. So I'm happy she chose herself. Tyra, you're gonna be missed.
I love you, girl. I'm so sad. Two of my favorites, Faye and Tyra, gone.
Yeah, but I will say at least Tyra went out on her own terms versus like unfortunately Faye was just not chosen. And I would argue like, it's not a fun situation regardless. I'm sure of it. However, I would also say that going out on your own terms,
It's a good
you
way to
chose
go.
this for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She had time
nobody
to
chose
think
it for
about it.
you. Nobody
Totally.
chose it for you. Next up, this is our next to last pairing here that's going to be happening. Lindsay and Blessing. Going into this, I felt like this could go either way, to be honest with you. Like, they obviously didn't really have any other connections in the Masseria, it felt like. Still wasn't sure what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Were you feeling the same?
I 100% was like, but the thing is, I didn't know where it was going to go, but I also was thinking, there's no one else they have talked to individually. So if they want to stay in the Masseria, they have no other choice than to pick each other.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And maybe again, there was conversations we just didn't see where they kind of smooth things over more, or maybe they just, to your point, don't want to go home just yet and they know that their option is to choose each other. So Lindsay and Blessing both turn. Lindsay did give us a little bit of a scare. She tried to like hesitate and I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Almost
but
gave Blessing a
turned.
heart attack.
Almost gave poor and I love Blessing. She's one of my favorites in the Masseria so far. I think she's a very sweet, gentle soul. She's one of those people again who you look at and you're like, mask. But on the inside is like a soft, like very tender person and kind person. So I love Blessing.
So
I don't
sweet.
have any ill will against Lindsay. I hope that they can figure this out with either, figuring out how they work together or just calling it. But I hope that this gets resolved.
Me
because,
too.
Yeah.
Blessing needs answers.
I agree. I do agree with that. 100%.
She's being very, very patient with Lindsay, but I'm kind of like, Lindsay, we're on episode 6, baby. You cannot keep jumping from person to person to person. Like,
Facts.
her and Nikita are like fighting for who's going to be Thanos, who's collecting the most Infinity Stones at this point in the Masseria. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, stick to one person, try to work it out, and go from there.
Yeah.
But I am happy that they decided to stay together and be together in the Masseria, because if they're not meant to be together, I do really hope that they find someone that suits them.
I agree.
More.
I agree.
Lastly, Dani calls in Pippa and has Pippa pick who they are saving their kiss for. So right now we have Nikita and we have Tyra, and Tyra has already elected to leave, but Pippa does not know that yet. We're waiting for Pippa's choice. Pippa decides Nikita, which I don't feel like that was the choice that they wanted to make. They wanted to pick Alicia, I think.
I don't disagree with you. I feel like that was probably the case, but if I think it's very clear how kind of intertwined Elise and Alicia are. So I do think that they probably knew, even if Alicia is my top, it's not going to go anywhere because she's not going to choose me.
Right.
I also think it's worth noting that Dani made it very clear that Pippa had to lock in their answer before they got taken away with who they wanted to kiss. So essentially, if Pippa would have come out and the person that's chosen had already chosen somebody else, they were just going to go home. Yeah. Which I think is interesting because I wasn't quite sure how that worked. Like, do they have to like physically like write something down and lock it in? Or are they able to like have an idea, but then they go down, oh, hey, this person is actually not here anymore, so I'm going to go with this person to kind of like save themselves. So I'm happy that we got a little peek behind that curtain.
Yeah. I feel like Pippa probably had to tell production or something who they decided to pick. So that way they know that production knows that this is who they were supposed to pick. So if they try to pick someone else, production will be like, that's not who you said.
Doesn't work that way.
You're going home. But I am not surprised that they picked Nikita because of the heavy flirting and banter back and forth. I really want to see if the flirting kind of subsides just a little bit and we get more heavy conversations, personal conversations, very similar to that of Pippa and Alicia. I would love to see that more. I have not seen that with Nikita with anyone she's been trying to talk to. I think it's always been heavy on the flirting, less on the deep combo. So maybe we will get a little bit of a change of pace there.
I agree. It remains to be seen. I hope that this, because these two didn't feel, and again, we're not seeing every single thing. These two didn't feel like, they definitely felt like they had a connection, but it didn't feel like a super strong one. I feel like, I don't know. I hope to see what you said. Either A, they really like kind of dive in and start really feeling each other and like having deep convos, or they end it. And if I'm being honest with you, if things don't work out with Pippa, I kind of think Nikita needs to take a page from Tyra's book, because, you know, at the end of the day, somebody can come through at any time, right? Like, there's still more people, as we'll see, there's still more people that need to join. But Nikita's talked to quite a few people now. It hasn't worked out for one reason or another. I feel like her and Almira, they matched, and then immediately it was like, this is weird. Like, we're not feeling it.
A switch flipped for some reason.
I agree. And Nikita's an OG and still hasn't had like a single solid connection with anybody. So, you know, that remains to be seen. By the end of the kiss off, just want to do a quick speed run through all the pairings that we have, just in case you need a little refresher. We've been talking a lot here. First couple, Ebony and Imogen, obviously. Second couple, Renee and Ashley. Woohoo. We love Mask for Mask. Third couple, Elise and Alicia. Duh. Then we have Almira and Kaylee. We have Lindsay and Blessing. And we have Pippa and Nikita.
Yep. After the final pairing, Tyra gives very sad goodbye, kind of cries on everyone's shoulders, and it was like a really bittersweet moment. Felt really sad for her. But as always, Dani has a nice bubbly glass of champagne waiting for whoever doesn't get kissed at the kiss-off. So at least she gets to wash the sorrows down with some alcohol.
Hopefully it's some good champagne too. Like, I'm talking like that expensive stuff.
Truly. And then we get a little surprise from Dani. Do you want to say what the surprise is?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's one surprise. I think it's two surprises. Those surprises are two new femme girlies who arrive and are standing on the balcony. In another surprising turn of events, Elise is like, oh shit, I think I know one of those girls. I think I know that person. I don't know if she's at the person on the right or the left, but she thinks she knows one of them. The person on the right. What's the history there? What do you what do you think's going to come of this?
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
Both girls are like dim lit, you know, you can't really see their face at all. You just see their silhouettes. And the fact that Elise immediately is like, I think I know who's on the right, there is probably deep history. It isn't a one night stand. Like, you guys probably dated, and now this person is coming into the Masseria. And just to kind of go ahead for a second, we see a preview and we get to see what their faces look like for the next episode. And they're both really cute. And I think this is just the test that I wanted for Elise and Alicia. But I don't think Elise's heart can take it.
It remains to be seen. I feel like I've said that so many times this episode, but I think it remains to be seen. I couldn't tell if Elise's vibe was like, fuck, or like, oh. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell if this was like a good or like a bad. I kind of got bad vibes, right?
Yeah, I felt bad vibes. She looked maybe I'm onto something. Shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm onto something. I don't know. It remains to be seen. That's the end of the episode. We cut to black. We jump into the preview. This one is definitely for next episode, so I think that we don't have to ask any questions. So I think we know what's going to happen. Essentially, we're going to pick up where we left off, where Elise is like, hi, Josie. So clearly knows the person, knows her name. We see Ashley making out with I think it was one of the new girls. It was definitely somebody else. And Renee looks upset.
It was one of the new girls. I was so mad.
Yeah. I'm like, so oh boy. And Renee looks upset. And then we also see Lindsay making out with somebody
I don't even know who.
I don't know who either. I couldn't tell if that was like a new girl or like somebody that's been there, but Blessing looks upset.
Of them. Like on top of them. Like it looked sexual.
It did. Listen, we said it last episode. Like, I think Lindsay is she's a great kisser. She's one of those people who she could be kissing a wall and it's gonna look hot. Like,
it'll look so hot.
She just knows what she's doing. But Blessing's crying. Blessing's crying, and I hate that.
Yeah.
We'll have to see soon. Overall, though, Amber, I agree with your initial thought. This wasn't the best episode that we've had. It was a little bit slower there at the start. Also, like, not really a lot of surprises happening. I think the most riveting thing was Pippa choosing Alicia for the date. Yeah. But we obviously knew how that was going to turn out. Alicia wasn't going anywhere. Her head wasn't turning.
And also, Imogen calling it quits with Ebony, but then immediately turning back and being like, No, baby, I love you.
That didn't
I don't
shock
wanna call
me.
it quits. I don't
That
wanna call
didn't
it
shock
quits.
me. I feel like
Didn't
no, not at all. I've seen this type on reality television before. I've known this type of person before. I wasn't shocked. That's one of those people who's like, I'm gonna say inflammatory things. We talked about this either last episode or the episode before. I'm gonna say shit. It's gonna piss you off, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, sorry, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
No,
It was my
absolutely
emotions.
not. No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I really don't want them to be together, mostly because I don't really have any ill will toward either of them. I know that I've been telling you that Imogen's kind of on my shit list, and she is, based on her actions in the Masseria and that alone.
Right.
She could be a lovely human outside of this. I know this is a kind of pressure cooker of an experience. At the same time, I don't like where this relationship is going with those two, and I feel like it's getting to a point where it's like, is this going to be very toxic? So I want them done. Don't want them to date anymore. That's really it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I agree.
That's fair. Alrighty. Guys, if you are enjoying the pod, if you're enjoying hearing us talk to you and share our thoughts on I Kissed a Girl, and you want to hear more, you want to hear about our stories, you want to hear about our lives, whatever that might be, give us a follow. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. We're also on YouTube. So yeah, show your support, give us a follow, give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out. And if you ever have thoughts or a hot take or feedback or anything at all you want to share, feel free to shoot us an email with that. Our email is lezzingoutpod@gmail.com. Give us all your thoughts.
Yeah, all the thoughts. We love to hear them. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you at the next one. Bye, gay.
Bye, gay.